we're missing where to go. There we go. Not ready until we
have all the candles.
All the candles. Guys, I'm trying to set the mood, okay? This matters.
I agree.
This matters. I'm excited. Oh, shit. Do you know what time it is?
It's tabletop time.
I'm Jazza.
I'm Dave.
And we're playing Tainted Grail.
The Fall of Avalon.
Very excited about this. Now, Dave has played it. He's done his practice run to sort of get the vibe.
Yep,
What's
absolutely.
your initial verdict?
So, well, we grabbed the game. Jazza said play it. I took it to my gaming group and we kept going back for more. So I've really enjoyed it and I'm going to be stealing the game after we're done so we can finish the campaign.
There's a lot to it, but
Yep.
it's very narrative heavy from what I can gather. It's super moody. Like, I love the minis and the art and everything is like, it's a mood for
It's
sure.
super intuitive once you play it. Don't be daunted by all this.
Yeah.
Once we get into it, it will make so much sense. It's really smooth.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those ones where it looks like a lot, but it's for a reason. Like just this is the map. Have you noticed this is a conjoined picture?
Yeah.
As you reveal tiles, it like builds the map.
That's
and
pretty
this
cool.
is your map.
I love it.
So that's like the people's, it's
It's so cool. So we're going to jump into this game before we do just a little bit about the game, who is sponsoring this video. So Tainted Grail, check it out.
This land was never meant for us. We took it anyway. Now the king is gone, and the whole realm is dying. Again and again, the cycle has been broken. There is a price to pay. The weirdness is coming, and nothing can stop it.
Tainted Grail is a new major board game from Awaken Realms, offering an immersive co-op or solo experience for 1 to 4 players.
It has over 1,000 pieces of unique, stylish art in a dark reimagining of Arthurian legends.
If adventure, survival, and exploration mechanics are your thing, Tainted Grail brings that to you, perfectly paired with character development, exciting combat mechanisms, and diplomatic play game styles.
There are over 100,000 words in their branching story scripts, which is a novel. Like literally a novel. So there is not only the massive core campaign that it comes with, but there are also 2 campaign expansions available, as well as a box full of crazy cool dark miniatures that you can get as well.
Dave painted up some for this video, which we're really excited to show off, and such amazing art and a really fun way of mixing tabletop narrative and miniature gameplay. A huge thank you to Tainted Grail for sponsoring this video, and of course, the links as always are in the description. Let's play this game.
So there's a couple of little things about Tainted Grail that's worth knowing. So because it is a super narrative game, there are some secrets that once you've heard them or learnt them, you can't kind of unhear or unlearn them. But there are lots of like divergent paths and optional quests and different ways to achieve the same goal, which means there is replayability even in the same campaign. We are only going to play chapter 1 of the game. So if you were looking at getting it, don't worry, we're not going to play further than that. We will fully like narrate. We're going to dive into it. This is super like narrator roleplay, which is totally up my alley.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the candle did a pee.
Oh, it's still going. We're setting the mood, but it's also kind of ruining the mood. Last dribbles. Just squeeze it out. All done. Come on.
So we've set up our characters. There's 4 characters to play from in the base game, but there's actually expansions, which I learnt in looking through the box are entirely separate campaigns.
That's cool.
So you don't mix and match characters between them. It's a journey with the sets of characters.
That's sick.
Anyway, I digress. So we're set in sort of an Avalon, the world of a dark, twisted version of the world of Camelot and King Arthur. It's an island that's been taken that's full of magic and nightmarish stuff that they pushed back into the darkness and out of the island with ancient magic, but it's hundreds of years later and that magic is like crumbling and falling apart. So where we leave off is that we're actually kind of the left behinds. The 5 great warriors and champions of Avalon from our area have gathered together to go on this like vitally important final quest. And we're all the people who weren't good enough to go with them. We've each got a character. I'm picking Maggot and you're picking Beor. And we get a little introduction letter with each of our characters.
Right. Do you want to introduce Maggot?
Okay.
I feel like the tone, right, is from this point. It's like
we're in
story time.
Yeah, so this is going to be a bit of a story, guys. So this is from Lord Yvain.
I loathe to write to you, Maggot. Yet if you have received this message, it means I am dead. You are right. The sagas of old are true, and our islands once belonged to twisted, immortal power. Arthur, the first of the kings, subdued this realm inch by inch. With his knights and his armies, He took the Grail from the Four Dwellers and used it to bring seasons and cycles known from our world into this godless place. You druids always told us the men here in our village was created to immortalize this, but now I know the truth. It was created to keep those ancient powers out, to anchor this island to the world of mankind. Well, you all have failed. Now the granaries stand empty, the spring won't come, and the men here in our village darkens by the day. I admit, I wanted to flay every druid until I discovered the reason, but Priestess Niante claims you had nothing to do with it. That's why I gathered 5 of our best people. I'm leading them east to find help in Camelot before it's too late, before the land fragments and sinks into weirdness. I did not ask you to join my retinue, because as much as I dislike druids, a man who betrayed even them seemed like a poor bet. Still, if we've failed, I've no one else to trust. Rise, maggot. Do what you can to save this land. This is my final wish.
So I feel like I meant to like burn it over the Kindle now, but I'm not going to. So what does...
So I am Beor.
But this is from Erifir, Forge Master.
You were always a good lad and a great help. I would have closed the forge long ago if it wasn't for the strength of your arms and your resolve. Feel I owe you something. When I told you to stay and connect, to keep an eye on my property, I misguided you. The forge is already lost, just like the rest of our land. The sagas of old are true. Our island once belonged to a twisted immortal powers. It was not a place for humans, but Arthur, the first of kings who landed on these shores with our people, subdued Avalon inch by inch. He took the Grail from the Four Dwellers and used it to bring seasons and cycles down from our world to this godless place. We all thought the men here in the village was raised to immortalize this. The truth is, it was created to keep these ancient powers at bay. Now the men here go dark. Something is broken. Spring will not come. The animals won't breed. Lord Yevon secretly gathered the 5 strongest and wisest people of Connacht, including me. He leads us to seek help in Camelot before it's too late, before the land starts sinking into the weirdness. If we don't return, it means we've failed, and the fate of Connacht falls to you. Yavin didn't want you to go with us due to your lack of experience and your short temper, but I've always believed in you, lad. Save our people. Or if you cannot, try to save yourself.
We're at the dawn of day 1. We're at Kuanacht Farmhold. So we actually have this little thing that can go and guide us through. So the first thing we do is remove any expired menhirs. We don't need to do that. Reduce the time token. So this marker that had 7 days left, 6 days.
Till we all die.
Well, it gets very bad. Let's just put it like that.
Okay.
It's basically, this is keeping away all the nightmares. And if it goes dark, the last one on the board doesn't instant kill you, but you like lose sanity every day and you have to like quickly try and restoke it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We do have to reveal the first event card. So this becomes top of the active quest pile. Time is short. The guardian menhir that has been protecting your town since the ancient days is about to go dark. Rumor has it that there's a secret druidic ritual that may help you rekindle the menhirs. You must explore the locations surrounding Kuanacht to find it. Our quest is to earn the Menhir Rights secret card. To do so, you'll have to explore the locations surrounding Kuanacht, which is 101 where we start, and success. As soon as we have Menhir Rights, resolve the Chapter 1 Part 5 card from the event deck and discard this card. Remember not to change the structure of the deck. Yep. Hint, if this is your first game, try to return to Kuanacht at the end of the day and spend the night there to read the dream. So, I'm going to suggest now we can start to take actions.
Yeah.
I'm going to guide you to say, I think you should explore to get your first taste of how the game works. So it's my turn. Well, we actually play all our actions interchangeably as we discuss. It's cooperative and our
So it's not turn by turn, it's like we're both doing a thing.
We work together to work out the best outcomes.
Let's explore where we start.
First thing we do is spend the energy.
There's my energy.
You're exploring our little town. A deep feeling of loss fills everything in Kuanacht, from dilapidated farms to the sunken eyes of those who remain in town. The menhir in the market is all but extinguished, and everyone brave or resourceful enough has left to find a solution. If you have the Winds of Weirdness status, remove this location card and replace it with another one, which we do not. If you have Secret Card 66, go to verse 4, we do not. If you have Hunter's Mark status, go to verse 6, otherwise choose one. Now for the future for this video, I'll skip the ones that we don't have, but I thought I'd read that one out just to give you an example of how it's formatted.
Okay.
So when you come
get
to
options
this,
based on what you've built.
what you've built up.
Yeah.
So if we had secret card 66, it would instruct us to go to verse 4.
Cool.
And then it says otherwise, and this is where we're at, is in otherwise, you can choose one of these things. Visit the families of the champions from the first expedition. Ask the townsfolk to help you prepare. Rest for the day in your own home, or wander the alleys twisted by the weirdness.
I want to speak to the townsfolk of the Leven warriors.
Okay, so visit the families of the champions?
Leven, yeah.
This long winter, nearly everyone here lost a friend or a family member. First to hunger, then to disease. Finally, the 5 remaining pillars of the community, the only heroes this land had ever known, suddenly left. Now, when you look into the distant eyes of the last remaining residents, you realize they want to forget. There is an old custom, a late night wake for those who wandered far from home. Holding it for everyone who left with the expedition won't be cheap though. And then that's pay 1, earn 1 food, or you can leave. But that...
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna gather resources before I spend them.
Okay, so it says go back to the start of the location, make another choice. So you can rest for the day in your own home. I have a feeling that'll waste all your energy, and I don't think that's the best move.
Yeah.
Ask the townsfolk to help you prepare, or leave.
I'm gonna ask the townsfolk to help me prepare.
Go to verse 3. Though they have little left, they share with you their last remaining supplies.
Aww.
Somehow, this seems unworthy of a hero, but since all the true heroes were lost, who will dare question your methods? If you have at least 1 reputation, and you don't have the scrounger status, each party member gains 2 food. Then, gain 1 random item and the scrounger status. Because we don't have that, gain 1 random item and the scrounger status.
I
and
get
your
something.
expedition ends. So you get an item.
That one. I wanted that one. I was eyeing that one off.
Okay. What is it?
This is mead. I
Oh, now
had
you-
a good feeling about it.
I love that you could loosen their tongues with mead and now you've got the mead. What's it do?
Can I do that? Can I go now back to the...
You need to
It's all them-
specifically spend the items that it
Okay.
says.
Right. Discard when resting. During this rest, ignore the effects of exhaustion, nightmare, and the howling gale event.
That is very, very useful.
Cool.
You could go back into the town and make more options, but you have to spend energy again.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep, no, I've spent my energy. I got mead as a result.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an action now. I'm actually going to just spend 1 energy, and I'm going to do this once per day action. So it means when it says once per day for everyone. So if I do it, you can't do it.
Okay.
So I do this, and it says chores for the townsfolk. Gain 1 reputation once per day. So I just spend an energy, do the chores, help them pick their berries or whatever, and I get a reputation. Cool. Would you like me to take another action, or would you like to perhaps travel to the Fallen Swords?
I'm going to travel to the Fallen Swords. You knew I was eyeing off the big fancy swords.
I had a feeling. So spend 1 energy to move.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to show you something.
Yeah.
I'm going to come with you.
Okay.
So I spend an energy.
Tarry.
I don't know that this is the way
Tarry
to
with
play,
me.
but I'm going to come with you. And now, for example, you could do the smith shop action, pay 1 wealth to draw a craftable item. Otherwise, we can explore this location.
Let's explore.
And you know what? Let's do it as a party.
All right. So it's
So that means
spend one of
we
us
both spend.
Okay.
But the difference is when we're doing actions, we actually can both pool our resources and we can use combined skills.
Cool.
So when it says like, you know, yours says if you had at least 1 empathy.
Yeah.
So if I had 1 empathy and you didn't, we could choose that path because we're in a party together. So I spend an energy. You rest a while in the shade of titanic swords, their rusty smell causing your nose to tingle. 100 yards away, an elder smith toils, chipping at the jagged edge of a giant weapon. The hammer he uses to break apart this ancient steel seems very strange, as does the sound it makes. You can attempt to climb one of the swords, try to talk to the smith, or rest in the shade of the sword.
I'm going to climb a sword.
I was about to say, can we talk to the smith?
I'm going to climb a giant sword. When else am I going to get this opportunity?
Okay. These are our options. Try a free climb, trusting your strength and agility, which requires 1 or more courage. You roll a dice and add 1 for each point of health. You can study the sword's surface, finding the best approach, and climb slowly. We pay energy, basically, but we get a bonus. Or we can prepare ropes and climbing hooks, proceed with extreme caution. We pay a lot of energy, but we get a very big bonus, and it requires caution. Free climb, so just trusting your strength and agility.
I like to live on the edge.
All right, so you roll a dice, and you add +1 for each point of health, of which you have 8.
Okay.
So that's a 10. You slip several times, cutting yourself on sharp edges before you reach the top. Each party member loses 1 health.
I'll let you make the next decision.
Sweaty and tired, you're now in a narrow niche that was once the sword's fuller. There you rest a while, feasting your eyes on the open wide vistas of the island. From here you can see there are 2 more menhirs near Kuanacht. One sits hidden between the mist-covered mounds of the Four-Dwellers. Another is in the hills near the cursed town known as Whitening. If we put a quest token, so that's, I have a little baggie of extra thingies. So these go on cards to mark things.
Yep.
So quest token marked. If you have no energy left, you're too exhausted to go up or down and the sun is setting, go to first 15. Otherwise, we can climb further up or we can descend. Climb further up says you look up and notice the sword's guard shining far above your head. That gold.
I feel like
let's keep climbing.
we should go on an adventure. Let's do it.
All right. Do you want to roll? You do the honors. You got to roll better than a 2 though.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was just warming up. So 1 is. That's what I thought I'd do this time. I'd do a 1.
All right. So how much health do you have now? So you've got 8. So 8 plus 1 is 9. But because we spend the energy, it says add an extra 2, so we get 11.
So what
you
happens?
slip several times, cutting yourself on sharp edges. We each lose 1 health. Hooray!
Yeah.
But we managed to climb up. Okay, and then
the shiny thing is
go to a secret place. So this secret, so what you do is you align the skull. 4, 2, 7. You did it! You pull yourself onto the sword's crossguard, as wide as a moat. Startled seabirds watch from their nests. You stretch your arms wide as if to embrace the entire island. From here you can see incredible faraway places, the pale, smooth walls of a Four-Dweller fortress to the northwest, the castle of Camelot far along the eastern shore, the reflective surface of the Mirror Lake directly to the north, and the sacred druid moonring behind it. Then, you discover that many parts of the sword's crossguard and pommel are still covered in gold. If you don't have part 1 of the hidden treasure status, each party member gains 1 experience and 2 wealth, and 1 part of the hidden treasure status.
Sick.
So, that's one of the perks to doing that as a party.
So we pushed it, but we both get cool stuff.
So we both got, was it 1 experience and 2 wealth?
2 wealth, yeah.
So basically, had I not come with you, you would have got that, but then that's done. So I can't come back and then get the
wealth.
experience and the
Yeah,
wealth.
cool.
So, woo, we're
I
rich.
feel like we need to go back and rest because we're nearly exhausted.
Yeah, so well, we can just rest here
Okay.
but you could also push on because you have your mead and you can just drink it and ignore
Oh
exhaustion.
hell yeah! I won't leave you behind. I wouldn't do.
But you could, if you want to drink your mead, you could explore here again and talk to the blacksmith.
So at this point, I think we should divide and conquer. So I'm going to spend 1 more
Energy?
point. I'm exhausted, but I want to speak to the blacksmith that we saw.
Cool. So now it says, try to talk to the smith, go to verse 2. If you're playing Bjorn,
Ah, that's me. I'm Bjorn.
you know the smith. He and your missing master used to be friends. Go to verse 4. So we skip that option and go to this. You apologize to the man politely and hang back, watching. Each strike of his hammer against the surface of the sword produces a sharp, tingling sound.
This old steel was shaped not with a tool, but with a song,
The smith explains after a while.
It takes the same pitch to break it apart. This hammer I have remembers the music of the Four-Dwellers.
After a while, the smith gathers rusty ingots from the grass and invites you to his hut where he shows you the rest of the process. If you don't have riddles of the old steel status, each party member gains 1 experience. So you gain 1 experience.
But you weren't with me on this because I spent.
No,
the
because I
energy.
didn't have the energy to spend.
Cool.
And then we can make some options, but I'm going to show you this. This is basically, it's actually called our save sheet. And as you track things, you mark them down. So we had the riddles of the old steel part 1. So me and my friends can actually go back to our game because we have all our
Pick up
character
where you left
status,
off.
everything all checked out on one of these bits of paper.
awesome.
You can then choose, you can leave, you can attempt to buy the hammer off him, or you can attempt to steal the hammer.
Oh, I want the hammer.
Now
I'm
you,
either going to buy it or steal it. You know what? I've got 3 wealth. I just got 2 from climbing the sword.
Yep.
I'm going to offer him 3.
offer him 3.
Smith, take everything I have. I want that hammer.
The smith carefully considers your offer. Roll a dice.
6 is probably hopefully good.
If the result is at least 4, you gain secret card 27 and spend your wealth. That means he sold it to you. I reckon we've got a magical hammer.
I have the hammer.
Nice.
So I'm really glad we bought this as a prop.
So basically the way that works is that marker just means like victory score. So every single fight, if you're wielding that as your weapon, you just automatically start with a free, like a point towards winning.
This is a fun game. Bring props. and
candles.
Yeah, definitely.
You may as well use your last bit of exhaustion. You may as well move back to start heading back to
let's
town.
go back to town. I'm going to go this way, spend my exhaustion point.
And now you pass, I'm assuming, because you got nothing else to do. I pass because I don't want to get exhausted. So then we move through to the end of the day.
Yep.
So we have to rest. And to rest, we need to eat. So do you have any food?
No. Yes.
So we spend 1 food each.
That's food. I do.
Trust me, you want to spend food because if you don't have food, you don't rest well and you starve. We now restore 1 health.
Yep.
So you can put your health up 1 and then restore your energy to its starting point. Now, if you're exhausted, you only restore 4. However, if you drink your mead, you basically get to ignore that. Advance your character by spending experience. I can tell you that we don't really have enough. You generally want like 4 or more. Okay. You can get extra stats and stuff.
Cool. All right. Let's save those up.
And then we dream. So if there is a symbol of that eye in your location, you dream.
In your restless dream, a pale lady rises from the water, her eyes milky and her skin spoiled with rot. She whispers something in your ear. Her breath smells of sea salt, kelp, and rotten fish. You barely remember her words. There was something about 3 enigmas, one hidden under the Isle of the Dead, one clutched in the grasp of burned hands and arms, and one buried in a mist-covered mound.
Hint! The dream refers to 3 out of 8 locations surrounding Kuanacht. It's possible some of them are not yet revealed.
Thank you, loud voice in my dream, helping me understand it.
It's always good.
Just picture having that dream and this like rotten flesh lady and Dave wanders out like, just so as you know.
So, I have a special rule for my character called Recovering Addict. When dreaming, toss a dial. If it's a skull, you read the nightmare instead.
Sick. That's a skull.
So I have a nightmare instead of a dream.
Fun.
Would you like to read my nightmare?
Yeah.
Tired from a hard climb, your gleaming reward lies just beyond reach. As you grasp the next notch in the sword, the metal rusts and crumbles in your hands. You tumble backwards. The world spinning as you plummet to the ground, your landing wakes you in a jolt.
Each character who has this nightmare gains 1 terror.
So terror drives you up towards insanity.
Got you.
So if I get into this going insane,
It's all making sense. So, okay, energy goes down, health obviously up and down, and that's the line, and then terror goes up.
Yep, terror goes up.
Okay.
But when you rest, if you eat food, you actually restore 1 terror.
Okay.
But because of the order of the day, my restoring from resting happens before my fitful nightmare. So I actually will wake with that. Now we start the next day.
Yay, let's do it again.
Homeless vagabonds roam the roads and trails.
Many hail from fishing villages further west, where the last menhirs went dark weeks ago. Though malformed and sick, they're the lucky ones. Their tales chill you to the bone. Is this the fate that awaits your land? You may help the refugees. Each player may spend 1 wealth or 1 food to gain 1 rep and 1 experience.
I'll give them some food.
I'm gonna pay a wealth to get rep and experience. You get rep and experience.
Oh, 1 of each.
Yeah.
Sick.
I'm gonna buy an item. So I draw a random craftable item. Improvised armor. So in fights, it prevents 1 damage, but it can't reduce damage to 0.
Okay.
So basically what that means is if something hits me for 2 or more damage, it drops it by 1, which is pretty good actually.
I'm gonna go to the Hunter's Grove. So I'll spend an energy, I'm gonna move, and then I'm gonna spend another energy and explore.
You arrive at Hunter's Grove. It's still here, as always. Enormous empty eye sockets start to watch you as soon as you descend into the moss-covered basin. The horns, as wide as a longship, are now a home for countless birds. Inside the vast skull lies a quiet, candle-lit shrine with several straw mattresses strewn about. The local hunters call this ancient skull Stagfather, and lay charms and offerings around it. The legends say the Stagfather takes the dreamers away to join him on a great hunt. You may choose to sleep in the shrine, dig through the offerings, deface the shrine and leave a message to other hunters, or leave.
I'm gonna dig.
Dig through the offerings.
Dig through the offerings.
Clearly, if they left their coins here, they do not want them anymore, right? If you don't have part 5 of the pillager status, gain 1 wealth. Then, gain part 5 of the pillager status. Each party member with 1 or more spirituality
Nah.
suffers 1 terror.
Foolishness.
So, I love it. You just pragmatically come in and take the offerings.
I'll take that.
I'll go to the Charred Conclave. When you enter this space, you draw a grey encounter card as soon as you enter it. So this is the first like combat thing.
Yeah, first enemy.
Mist-shaped vermin. This card explains how it works. So the number here is how many of those red cubes you need to accumulate to win. So your hammer, for example, in a
Gives me
purple
a
encounter,
free
gets you a free one. These tokens, you match your cards to them to actually play the fight. And then down here you have sort of what happens, what its attacks are based on how much damage it's taken. And then loot down the bottom. So I draw 3 random combat cards. My combat cards all have different things here which can connect. An example here is I have this card that says Final Blow. If I played that here, it would connect with this one, which is aggression. It would connect with courage. It doesn't connect with practicality.
Yeah.
It connects with magic, but to do that I have to spend magic, and it connects with the bottom card. I would get 2 victories immediately. I'd get to play an additional card. If I had magic, get an extra victory, and I'd get 1 victory, which would put me to 3. Now, even though this doesn't actually do anything because that cancels that and that doesn't connect to anything, it sets up 3, but the most important thing is it covered up that effect that was the really bad part of Final Blow. So that's now covered up. So now it says if the enemy deals any damage, lose that many victory counters instead. We then go back to it's now the Mist-shaped vermin's turn.
Yep.
Because I've run out of actions. Now I lose a victory point, so that goes away.
That looks better.
2 times victory, nothing, 1 extra card. Toss a dial. Skull.
Chalice. No, chalice, you don't get a skull.
Gain 2 instant victory.
Sick.
I
Boom,
win!
you got him.
We got there. So all the different characters have different combat decks. Okay. My guy's not great at combat. Your one's much better at fighting.
Yeah.
So my one's a bit better at diplomacy. You spend 2 energy,
and gain 2 food, counter,
and draw a green, and you gain 2 food automatically.
I'm going to do that.
Cool. So spend 2.
Spend 2. I get 2 food. I'm going to fight.
The green encounter. It's the rat again. It's the same bloody rat.
It's the same rat. All right. Well, let's see how I go against the same bloody rat. I have Hold Guard, Final Blow, like you had, and Risky Attack.
This links, so you get 1 victory. That doesn't link. That links, you have practicality, so you get a 2nd victory. That links, so you draw a card, and then you do this effect immediately. That
so that's a pretty good move.
But that's a 50-50 chance to make it do 2 extra damage when it attacks you.
It do 2.
Yep, that's what that means. So when the enemy attacks, it does 2 extra damage, and GRAIL is that when you flip a thing, you just win. So that's what I did at the very end.
Well, you know I like to play high stakes.
Okay, so you flip a...
I'm going to take my 2 victory points.
Yep.
And I'm going to flip a token.
Triple damage.
Sick. That's,
cool.
That's exactly what happens.
Cool. So now the rat bites you, and as it's taken only 2 damage...
See, it was supposed to be useful.
It now does 3 damage to you.
Okay. That's not good.
So you go to 4 health. You'll notice your maximum energy is now 4. And now at the end of the turn, you draw another combat card.
Yep.
And now it's your turn again.
That was
not the best
strategy.
call. I probably would have played a different card myself.
I have a plan.
Okay.
I'm going to play Final Blow, and I'm going to take my 3 extra tokens. I think that's all I need to win.
It beats 4.
Yep.
So now you get 1 food. So
and that effect doesn't happen because I got the tokens.
So that means when the enemy attacks.
Okay, cool. Which it doesn't because I killed it.
Yeah.
Yay. How do I get my health back, please?
You get 1 back every night.
Yes.
All right, so you're I'm assuming not going to push into exhaustion because you take damage when you push into exhaustion. I have 1 more energy to spend. I'm going to explore this location. Oh, and now that we've both moved into these new areas, guess what?
Reveal?
We reveal adjacent territories.
Yay!
Oh, the Island Asylum.
Sick.
So, we didn't reveal when we went down here because it has to have the arrow. So there was no path across the mountains to get to there.
That makes sense, okay.
107 is revealed.
And 106.
And 106. Okay, so I explored. So guess what? You get to read me some glorious words.
You do exploration. I'll save my voice for the nightmares.
Oh, you're the Nightmare Man?
I'm the Nightmare Man. You're the narrator.
D-Man. All right. It doesn't take long for you to find it. You just have to follow your nose. The remnants of an enormous wicker man kneel at the bottom of a small vale. Nicolas Cage, on his knees, screams bees.
It doesn't say
It doesn't
that.
say that.
I kind of wish it did. Just like this much.
The giant
Breaks
wicker
tone,
man.
but it's...
Okay.
That was good.
You gotta have fun when you're playing board games, even if they're moody. You were here when it was set alight, years ago. The day was wet. The wicker man smoldered, but didn't burn. Its victims, dozens of tightly packed druids, are still inside. Their melted faces and charred beards pressed against the bars and looking towards the grey, silent skies. Barely audible, ceaseless whispers seem to fill the air. The lipless mouths sneer at you. The melted fingers seem to beckon and call you. An angry whisper grows like the sound of the sea. Finally, you realize they want you to come inside, to step behind the charred bars where their black arms and melted fingers may close around you, into a place where your life should have ended with theirs. I could go inside, or I can put my ears to the bar and gather what you can from me. I'm gonna go inside. You break some of the bars open and step inside, choking on the foul smell. Closer, a voice in your head says. You lie between the charred carcasses and feel their arms wrap around you. Closer, the voice repeats as hands begin to pull you in. I can try to break myself free, or I can lay still. I'm gonna lay still. I lose a health and gain an insanity or a terror. Go to a secret! I think I can guess that that's gonna say 111, just based on the fact that they're all, but I wanna show off my 3 tokens.
Yeah.
Deformed fingers dig into your skin. Bodies push from all sides, nearly crushing your ribs. Charred lips whisper into your ears. The pain is immense, but after a while you understand. They are not looking to punish you. They want to pass on the knowledge lost with them. Each party member loses 1 health and gains 1 experience. God damn, I'm bleeding here. I'm getting absolutely destroyed. Gain secret card 11. Menhir writes, I may now activate Menhirs. Congratulations, you've completed your first quest. You now know how to wake the ancient Menhirs. When you finish a quest, make sure to always follow the instructions on the success card. New task, get to a location with a Menhir icon and activate its Menhir before your time runs out.
You're busy activating Menhirs. I'm busy weathering our really beautiful pages with wax just for a really authentic
Oh, you
look.
ruined my game.
I'm improving it.
It's your game, but I'm just claiming
It's
it.
an improvement.
Okay.
I wish they came like this.
Chapter 1, Part 5.
They come pretty nice and well-worn looking, but high quality and pristine, but I'm just deciding to jazzer it up a bit.
Authentic.
Jerry's like, and...
Despite your best efforts to learn and perform the ancient rite, the Menhir in your town seems beyond your help. Disheartened, you realize your only hope is to try to enable one of the 2 statues from the nearby locations. The quest is to activate a Menhir in one of the nearby locations, the 4 Dweller Mounds or Whitening. I'm out of energy, you're out of energy.
Let's
We
rest.
need to finish the day.
I can rest where I am.
So we need to spend a food.
Yeah.
We gain a health.
Yeah.
And then restore energy to the starting point. You then restore a terror. And then if you're exhausted, so you can advance your character by spending experience. I'm gonna save for one more experience. And modify your dex, not gonna do it, and then we dream.
So you're doing my dream.
I'll
now.
do your dream.
You do my dream, I'll do yours.
Okay.
We dream together.
All right.
The players that dream together also stream together.
That's
Check out
true.
Tabletop Time on Twitch.
You drift off under this ochre-colored constellation into a restless sleep where you chase a young dove in the hills just outside Kunacht. You wake early in the morning in a cold sweat with several fresh cuts. The taste of blood fills your mouth. Beside you, raw pieces of meat lay carefully wrapped in leaves. If you do not have the Hunter's Mark status, each character in this location gains 2 food then gained the hunter's mark status.
Sick.
So you gained 2 food.
Yeah.
You went on a hunt with a
This is
spirit.
a very productive dream. Sick. I'm nearly full up on my food.
Hey, guess what?
What?
I'm nearly full up on my sanity. So, oh, do I have a nightmare?
You flip it every time.
Yep, every
Come on,
single
here's
sleep.
another nightmare.
Oh, I think it's
No.
a grail, so I dream. Tell me my dream.
In your dream, you flee from a rolling wave of darkness, slowly consuming the land behind you. You try to pick your paths carefully, making sure to gather ample provisions along the way, and rekindle any menhirs you find. After a while, the wave catches up with you and swallows you whole. You come back to the start of the dream. This time you flee as fast as your legs can carry you, but hunger, dead ends, and the beasts of this land quickly take your life.
Hint, to survive, you'll need to move fast, but not at the cost of your resources or survival tracks. So it's like your dream giving you a little play tip.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Don't rush around like a dickhead. That's what that dream was.
Now we have to reveal the event card.
Beast on the prowl.
All players whose characters are out of settlements roll a dice.
I'll go first?
Yep.
A 1. That's usually not good. Usually.
A 5. The player with the lowest roll immediately draws a green encounter.
That's me.
And your rat's gone. Radis is gone. You now have a
got-
real fight. Oh!
Dobachu.
Did you say Dobachu?
Yeah, it's like Pikachu's like Dobia brother.
It has traits. This is the first time we have to deal with traits. So see how it says ambush? It says like words up the top.
Ambush, defensive, feint.
Ambush says the first character activated in this combat discards down to 1 card in hand immediately after activating. Defensive says that each first combat card played during step 2 of your activation adds 1 less marker to the combat pool. Feint. Any damage inflicted during its attack can't be prevented in any way.
Sick. All right, let's do
This
this.
thing's gonna kill you. You
Well,
can run.
I don't have a single card that can do anything. I'm gonna hit height tail and run out of there.
So you spend 1 energy to run, and then its opportunity attack hits you, which is
I
lose an energy.
Okay, cool.
So you run away from the crocodile at
Worth
great
it.
expense. So now we begin our day. I might suggest, sir, that perhaps as I can directly travel into Whitening, that
Yeah.
maybe you would travel into the 4 Dweller Mounds.
That's a good idea. But I'm not going to include your suggestion. I'm going to have that edited out, and I'm going to choose it so it looks like I made that choice. So how about I travel into the 4 Dweller? I think that's a good idea. Don't you?
Draw a blue encounter when you enter this location. Oh, it's a suspicious guard. So this is a diplomatic fight. So the difference with this is you actually start a marker here and it goes up or down through the combat rather
That's
than
cool. Okay.
rather than trying to reach a set goal.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's pretty much exactly the same. You draw 3 cards. And the play all happens at the same time. I'm going to play this, and as soon as I play it, this happens, because that's as you play it. If affinity is not green, raise it by 1. And then I have an owl of spirituality, so this happens, varying bonus, which raises it by 1, and then I win.
Smashed it.
I just walk in, they say, "Who goes there?" And I say,
I'm Maggot, Lord of Druids, and I am pretty tuned into religion and such.
and they go, "As you
Okay.
were." I'd like to explore. The hole is here, as always, gaping right in the middle of Whitening. The white lichen that gave this town its new name seems to grow out of it. It covers the walls of the nearby halls with a thick coat. Only close up can one discover it is in fact a small layer of sparkling crystals, like sea salt on the wooden posts of a pier. As you inspect it, several people watch you suspiciously. I can ask the people to help me on my journey or gather the white lichen. Do we want this strange crystal stuff? I kind of do. It looks like some kind of magic crystal. I'm gonna harvest some lichen. People watch horrified as you pluck the lichen with your own hands and stuff it into a small deerskin pouch. Sometime later, you open the bag only to find that some of the lichen is gone. For whatever reason, it seems to slowly disappear once removed from its main body. Gain secret card 32. Place a time token and dial on this secret and set them to 3.
What have you done?
I've caused apparently this whole town's going to explode. Once the dial runs out, discard the secret card. You may then earn it again. Someone will want it. So you'll have to come back, gather it, and then it only
Okay.
lasts for 3 days. They're
That
thinking
makes
someone's
sense.
going to want
So
it.
you just like harvested it just because it's there.
Yeah.
But there will be another quest somewhere where it's just like, I need the Lycan to bring the life force of the blah, blah, blah.
For sure.
But it's like 3 cards away and you got to get there in the turn. Okay.
So to light this, you require them in here, right? Secret card, which I have. It says requires all characters. We have to each pay 3 energy, 1 health, 1 wealth, and 1 magic. We can share costs, so I can pay 2 magic.
But we're not near each other, so do we have to be there together?
Correct.
Okay, so I have to come to you to light it.
Yes, so we can do that tomorrow if you want to do it tomorrow. I'm going to explore this area one more time, spending an energy, but I'm going to pick it was
First
like
option.
talk to people. I can sum up the food and wealth of all the party members and roll a dice. 1. Big Matt.
5.
Some are moved enough by your plight to share their meager property. If you don't have part 4 of the pillager status, gain 1 random item and part 4 of this status. I didn't want to pillage, I was just wondering if they had some bread. I just wanted them to give me some bread, but no, I'm a thief now.
Yeah, okay, go on.
I feel dirty. That one.
Yeah, good choice. Yeah.
It's a dude!
Don't burn the friggin'... Ah! It's hot still. It's still very... Listen, I'm setting the mood.
Did you actually burn yourself?
I did burn.
Oh my God.
Hang on. Here's the trick. If I can't run it under cold water, you fill your mouth.
Can I show you something controversial? It's another way to not sit there with your fingers in your mouth. Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey.
It does work. I'm setting the mood. I feel like we have the Tabletop Time brand like set in stone. Like we know who we are.
This bloody bard has just decided, they're actually palming him off on me.
Are you serious?
It says, when you draw cards at the start of the encounter, draw 1 more. So I get 4 cards to pick from, which is strong,
Okay, yeah,
right?
yeah.
But at the end of the day, I have to pay 1 wealth or 1 reputation or discard this card. So there's this like bard freeloading in their town. And they're like, here you go, you have Mercurial Skald. He can hang out with you now. All right, and then I'm going to travel to here. And we'll start the day anew. So we spend a food, go up 1 health, go down a sanity, restore your thingy. So you're ready to have your dream? Mist-filled mounds.
There are no dreams in this place. The sleep is as cold and silent as the mounds themselves.
Oh, no, I
That's it.
didn't dream. Okay.
3 days left.
It feels like less than we want all of a sudden.
So,
Next day.
I forgot to spend money on my little dude. So this bastard already takes a reputation off me just to keep him, but I'm going to keep him for this turn. Then I think he can bugger off. All right. So, what are we doing?
I'm going to explore.
Okay,
the
that'll cost you 1.
Mounds. Yep.
The mist-covered mounds resonate with the sound of spades and pickaxes.
Once, only insane treasure hunters worked there, but as more and more gold emerged from under the earth, these burial grounds turned into a regular mine, or at least almost regular. People still disappear or go mad here on occasion. You can wander deep into the mounds, or you can chat with the miners.
I'm going to wander deep into the mounds.
Sorry,
No one was able to count the mounds, and the most experienced miners claim new ones keep arriving, though no one can explain how. How far do you dare to wander? Do you stick to the places where other miners work? Do you go just beyond the currently explored part? Or do you walk and don't stop until you find something interesting? So option 2 costs 1 energy and option 3 costs 2 energy.
And that would leave me exhausted. I'll go beyond where people have explored.
Roll a die.
But not non-stop.
Roll a dice, add 1 for each point of pig. Courage.
Of pig, okay. That's 3 plus, no, it's 2. 1 plus 2. 1 plus 1, 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, got there.
The miners scramble in panic as a weird beast jumps out of the mists. Each party member with no aggression loses 1 health. Exploration ends.
I got 2, buddy.
So you just go, and the beast runs away. Now you're out of energy. I think next turn you're just gonna have to come back to lightning or us.
I think so.
I am going to search for food. So I'm gonna spend I'm gonna get my 2 food, and I'm gonna draw 1 green encounter.
Yep.
I was going to start starving if I didn't do this. It's a pack of strays.
All right, so you jumped into combat, and it was really interesting to see how it all played out, because basically it's like a puzzle. You might get a hand that looks like you can't do much, but if you choose one that gives you the effect that lets you set up the next choice, it actually works out.
Yeah, the effects are really important, and thinking about like sometimes the cards that say like break this card, it's working out like what are you going to leave behind? Yeah. How are you setting up your next play? When are you drawing cards? This particular monster was going to force me to discard cards every turn. Yeah. So by setting it up so that I got to draw a bonus card on the next turn, boom, I can win. Yeah. Okay, so I've got a little bit more day to go. I've got 2 more energy. I could search for more and keep fighting. Yay! Now I have so much food.
You do.
We can like trade with the people and get the wealth, and it's going to be great. But now I have to fight something.
Do it again.
It's an elk!
We might do a voiceover, but we also might just have some combat music.
So my amazing fight is going to be me running away. Except I'm exhausted now.
You're going to rest there, where you are?
That's all I can do. End of day, rest, eat food, gain health, gain 4, 2 days remain. I'm not paying for this guy, so... Fuck off. You going to join me?
I am going to spend an energy. I'm going to travel back to Hunter's Grove, and I'm actually going to...
We could crack this today. Remember, we got to spend 3 energy each.
On the thing.
On the thing.
All right, let's do it. I'll join you.
Let us reveal the... What's it called again?
Menhir.
The Menhir.
So the sacred rites for the Menhir.
So we're burning 3 energy each. Boom. I'm exhausted, but we are
which means you lose
revealing
health.
the Menhir. I lose a health. Boom.
We paid the 3 energy. Now we pay 1 health each. So you lose another.
Okay. Oof, this thing is hurty to resurrect.
Oh yeah, and we pay a wealth each. Can you?
Can I have a wealth, mate?
Yeah, can I have a wealth, mate? Don't worry.
Fine.
Don't worry, because we pay a magic each, so I'll pay both.
Sweet,
magic.
we'll cover each other. Thank you.
We look after each other.
Put him in there.
And then we have to put dial in.
So he is a time token.
Yep. So I think he starts at 8 minus 2 as well, so 6.
Does this one reset?
No, that stays. That'll keep burning until it burns out.
Oh.
So we can reactivate that to keep it going, but it goes to 1, then 0, then disappears the following turn. And when it disappears, these cards would all go because they're no longer 1 away from that.
So if you've got one on this big quest, you've come back, you have to reactivate expired play.
Yep.
So you're constantly in a disguised mystery landscape.
It's a constant like resource battle. And now we get to reveal 114.
Terrain time.
Tangleroot, the first farmhold.
Love that.
So that's where we'd be able to travel next. And then, so this says, when you activate one of the Menhirs, resolve the Chapter 1, Part 6 card. Congratulations! You have completed your first chapter of the Fall of Avalon campaign. Each character gains 2 experience.
Yes!
Give me that, I want that. And 1 magic. It's a rebate. Discard your event deck, place any discarded random event cards back in the random event deck and shuffle this. Then either save your game or draw a Chapter 2 setup card and follow the instructions to begin the next chapter.
So that's a game session. That's a good, like, solid few hours of exploration and dark tone, like, it was really cool.
Yeah, I love it.
How does a save game look? So if we wanted to okay, that's really cool where we're at now, how do we come back and pick up where we left off?
So remember our little sheet where I was noting our little thingies?
Yep.
What our status was? So what you do is you turn it over to the other side. Put the Menhir locations and you just put in this position, so 101, dial value 2. And then we have 107.
Dial value 6.
So then you fill out your character's name, or your player name, but I know Maggot.
And you just put both.
And this literally corresponds to everything.
Oh, sweet. You just literally take 30 seconds to scribble down where you're at. But then you saved. And then that's it. We can just pick up where we left off, pack up, and pick up quest 2 when we come back. But
absolutely.
That's really cool that it's a long campaign and really deep story with really intricate ways of playing the combat and the diplomacy, but it's a card game.
We've gone one more Menhir and a few more things.
You did hint at, after chapter 1, which we've just done, big monsters that start
There's big
appearing.
monsters, yeah.
If we kept playing right now, these monstrosities start appearing.
Yes, so basically, as soon as you get after the first quest, you start adding like the higher difficulty things into the decks, and the hardest ones are these roaming things, and they actually go on the table, and they roam.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah, so see this dice?
Yeah.
You roll it, and that would mean it goes west. So suddenly, like, it roams that way.
That's so creepy.
And if you bump into them, well, you can guess what happens.
Yeah.
And how much more powerful do you feel than when you started?
Yeah.
I was gonna say not at all, right? You have a hammer and that's it.
I feel like I've done stuff.
Okay.
I guess like I feel like I'm weathering with my character a bit.
But you've got this experience you want to spend.
Yeah.
And as soon as these things come out, you're like, I need more. And suddenly you start to value experience because you're like, I really want to be stronger because, oh my God, these things are terrifying.
This one's my favorite statue. I probably wouldn't like fighting him. I can't wait to come back and pick up my hammer where I left off. This was really cool. I am genuinely, especially as someone who, as you know, gets pretty intimidated by larger scope card games and tabletop games. It's really easy to get the hang of, and it really does feel like a storytelling experience that you can just pick up and go with, which is really cool.
I've played this a little bit more than Jazza, and personally, I really like it. It was probably the first and only game like this I've ever played. I've played a lot of board games, but I've never played something that was so narrative and so sort of rich in story, and that was really fun for me. I cannot wait to get back to my friends and be able to finish this campaign, because we know so many more secrets than we played, and you start to get snippets of like what happened to the quest people that went out before you, and like what darkness is befalling the land, and I'm like, what are the answers?
That's cool.
So yeah, and now you've just messed my whole setup up for the game, so lucky it's easy to reset.
I hope you guys have enjoyed this. It's been really fun to bake, and if you like the moodiness, obviously it doesn't always, that one's gonna burn the table. Doesn't always set the mood fabulously, but you know what? We like to put in the extra effort and it's extra fun. So we sincerely hope you've had a lot of fun with us today. We've had a lot of fun. Thank you again to Tainted GRAIL for sponsoring the video. Go check it out. Otherwise, that is it.
That is
for
it.
This very well put together video, but we have to wrap up with a very poorly put together outro. Oh God. Oh no.
What? I'm just gonna put out the candles.
Also, final little review of the candles. If you're going to do candlelit games, get the big ones. These ones are the ones to get, except for when they start doing what this one did.